Hey guys, it's Dennis here with Revog Games. I'm joined by
Joshua Weyers, all the way in South Africa.
yes, and this is our weekly games podcast, and we got some news and some bigger news, but not a lot of news this week. And we already talked about the first thing, which was
Yeah,
pretty big, but at the same time, almost felt small because of the disappointment heard by a lot of people.
yeah. It's
Which
just such
is
a trivial thing, I think.
yeah. So we did a separate video. You can watch that where we kind of discuss probably in more detail. But let's go over some of the things. So PlayStation, they officially announced kind of they didn't do like a rebranding of PlayStation Plus. They just are kind of merging PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus together into a subscription service that's going to be a Game Pass like competitor. There's 3 different tiers. Essential, which is basically what PlayStation Plus is now, which is the 2 free games a month, and then the access to the multiplayer and online stream, or not online streaming,
Online services.
online services. The second one is extra, which is kind of in the
It's,
middle, where you get where you get like
it's like
subscription.
300 games, I want to say. You
Yeah, about
can,
300
or if,
games.
or 350. You can download them, but in order to stream the games, you need the third tier, the
Premium,
final tier,
yes. So
premium. Yeah,
essential is I think what 9.99, which is I think the same is what Plus is
that's
now.
normal. PS Plus, yeah, same
Extra
price.
extra is 14.99, and then premium is 17.99. And while some of the first party exclusives library will be part of this service, there is no day one exclusives like there is for Game Pass, and I think that disappointed a lot of people. Um, the higher price for the premium at 17.99. Also, the whole you can explain it a little bit more better,
Yeah.
which is the online streaming part. You said that a lot of people were upset about that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. This new tier system, it is a benefit if you are a PlayStation user, if you have a console,
Hmm.
chances are you have PlayStation Plus. Like you probably bought it for the year and you probably do every single year
Hmm.
because you need to in order to play games online for the most part. And those 2 free games a month sometimes are pretty sweet and worth it in my opinion. So I always think PlayStation Plus is worth it
Hmm.
if you have a PlayStation, of course. Um, it's a benefit in the case of it's also like it is more of an incentive for people to get it a higher tier because initially it would be PlayStation Plus, which is $10 a month,
Hmm.
and then if you do want any of those additional features, you could get PS Now, which is another $10 a month. So in total, it would be $20 a month.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? To be able to download games and stream them. Whereas now they've at least broken it up as well, where it's like, hey, you can pay an extra $5 a month just to be able to download like PS4 games and PS3 games. You can
Hmm.
download them rather than stream them, and it's a smaller catalog. Or for $18 a month, you can get all the games and stream them as well, which is cheaper. If you have a PlayStation, it is cheaper.
Hmm.
So it does incentivize you. You know what I mean? You're like, hey, I'm gonna pay the $10 a month anyways, or $60 for the year, or whatever. Well, not 60. Yeah, well, yeah. I think you get a 60 for the year usually because if you buy longer, they'll have the same with the different tiers. I'd imagine where if you buy a whole
Hmm.
year, it'll be cheaper or something. Because it's usually $60 for the year, which means it would work out to $5 a month instead
Yeah,
of ten
to
dollars a
be
month.
fair, if you do pay the annual, then the premium is a lot less. It's 120 bucks
Yeah,
a year, which is basically $10 a month. Though essential is 9.99 a month, but if you pay like a year, like I already did for Plus, it's 60 bucks. So you're already, you're getting that discount anyways.
yeah. So it's definitely beneficial for PlayStation users, but only slightly is the thing. Like here's the thing: if you this only benefited a handful of people. For instance, people who have PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now. Now they're like, okay, sweet. Well, I mean, granted, if they haven't already paid a year for PlayStation Now, if they have
Hmm.
both of those, moving forward, it's going to be $2 less a month. You know what I mean? So it's good for them. And then if there's people who just download games on PlayStation Now, but they don't want to stream it, then they can get the $15 option a month, which is PS Plus and that extra feature.
Hmm.
So it's good for those 2 small groups of people, and I can see how it incentivizes normal PlayStation Plus users to get a higher tier for like just for an extra $5 a month. You can download a bunch of games. Like it does incentivize people. However, like I said, it did kind of spit on the PC gaming community, which I get. Sony is more interested in their users. In their users on their console. It seems like that's the main thing. They want people on their console. I don't think they're too focused on this monthly subscription amount. They just want people on the console or whatever. Because if they were more worried about the revenue, they would not have done this, because now anybody who has PS Now on PC, they're just not going to they're not going to get it because it's going to cost $18 instead of $10. It's almost double the price now for PC users, which is dumb. The fact that they didn't consider that is mind-blowing to me, you know? PlayStation Now, last time I checked, can run through Microsoft Edge browser, which means it's accessible on Sony devices. And to take that away as an option to just have PlayStation Now, taking that away as an option for it's just, I don't know, it's losing out on money. Like, I think it was dumb. It was like a dumb move, you know what I mean? Like, I think that it was very short-sighted of them to do this. Because that would be a great way to get your brand stronger as well. You know what I mean? Is getting people playing PlayStation games on other systems besides PlayStation. That's a great way to get new users. You know what I mean?
So just for a note, I believe for you said PC Game Pass for you is $5 a month.
Well, no, it's the PC Game Pass.
PC
I think
Game
it's
Pass.
$5 a month.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think it's $9.99 here in the U.S. if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to find annual pricing for.
I mean, if it is, I still wouldn't mind that price. I think it's because we do regional pricing here. Like, that's why it's cheaper. Because I used to pay more for it until like a couple months in, and then they changed the price. But that's because of the country I'm in for regional pricing. Yeah. Oh, I mean, wow. Even Ultimate is.
It's $14.99 for us in the U.S.
Okay, I was gonna say, because of regional pricing, Ultimate for me is like maybe $8 or $7.
Geez.
I know, yeah. It's a lot cheaper, obviously, out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's literally, man. I want to say it's about. I guess it's about $5. Yeah, give or take. Yeah, like normal Game Pass for PC.
So I can't find any annual pricing for Game Pass, so.
No, it's just monthly.
So I guess ultimately, PlayStation, even premium, if you buy the annual pass, is cheaper than Ultimate on that Game Pass, but obviously you don't get as much, so it's kind of a.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I see the prices here. Yeah, because yearly it would be okay.
Yeah, $120 for premium, where Ultimate on Game Pass would be. Let me see here.
It's a bit cheaper, but I mean, it's cheaper in the sense that it's
$180.
I was gonna say,
but that's for
you
Ultimate.
Save money. Yeah.
You do, but then you don't have PC game. This is including PC Game Pass, so you don't have all that.
What's normal Game Pass?
$9.99.
Okay, which would work out to
that's the
same.
That's the same price as plus premium.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, like I said, it's beneficial to some people, but overall, it seems like most people just don't care. You know, like it's not like they did something bad. It's just like very minuscule in the grand scheme of
I think the issue was people were hyped up and excited, especially people
especially for new titles, you know.
PlayStation owners were like, "Oh, we're gonna get our Game Pass now." Like all these people talking how great Xbox Game Pass is, and then when they got it, it's not exactly what they wanted. You know, they basically wanted what Xbox had, right? Which is, except for just the PlayStation version, they wanted to pay $9.99 a month for
Day One exclusives.
Yeah, subscription service plus Day One exclusives, and that's not what they got.
I said it in the video, so I'll say it here because it's really the only other thing you can say about it. Which is the reason they messed up on this is they had no games attached to it. They just announced the service. Every single time Xbox did any form of promotion for Game Pass, they promoted it with games. You know, Like even their last one of their last showcases, remember like every single trailer they showed at the end it would be like
Mm-hmm.
included in Game Pass, included in Game Pass. Even when they started Game Pass like way back when, like like granted I don't know the initial launch of it, but around the time of the initial launch, you got the new Gears of War day one. You got Outer Worlds day one. You know what I mean? Like those are two like big games that were day one on Game Pass. Whereas here on PlayStation, it's like, hey guys, look at this incredible service of old games that you've already played, most probably. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be the question. And not only the first party games that Game Pass is getting on day one, they're getting a lot of good indie titles on day one,
Mm-hmm.
or at least semi known. Like, okay, I haven't played it, so I don't know the quality of it, but it's kind of like people are talking about this
Tunic?
Tunic also was a day one, and then even this
Yeah, Tunic was
Wild
good.
Weird West
Oh, is
just
that going
came
to be day
out.
one on Game Pass?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's it
Wait,
is
it's
it
on
is
Game Pass now?
yeah.
Oh hell yeah! I'm
so
gonna try.
so
That
so
looked really interesting. Yeah.
so you're getting these type of games that maybe aren't triple. Like, remember the
Oh, there
Ascent?
it is.
My
Yeah,
my
there
favorite
it
game of last year was a day one Xbox Game Pass.
is. Mhm.
Well, it was exclusive
Yeah.
for 6 months or whatever.
I
or however
recommend
long.
anybody play that. Whether you're on console or PC doesn't matter. I recommend you play that game. It's fun, especially
Yeah.
with friends.
Yeah.
It's
So
like a shooting Diablo. That's the best way to explain it.
yeah. So I guess that's the part. Maybe PlayStation has it in their plans. Maybe in the future they will have day one exclusives. They just need to ramp up and make this just a bigger selling point. I guess the one thing I do like is the annual pricing of getting things cheaper
Yeah.
because it's
I think they have
over.
to combo with. I think they have to combo with Square Enix
Hmm.
or make some kind of deal with them. I like because they're at least in the same country. Also, like acquisitions if they wanted to. Like Square Enix is huge. You know they're probably not looking to be acquired either. But I know one of the reasons why Sony hasn't been making major acquisitions is because of like international law as well. You know what I mean? I'm sure it gets in the way for a Japanese company to try to like buy like American companies and vice versa. But Square Enix being a Japanese company, I just assume by now Sony would have invested more into Japanese video game companies. You know, for example, From Software, which gave us Elden Ring. You know, like they could be making mad moves. Imagine if
Yeah.
Elden Ring was exclusive to PlayStation and PlayStation Plus
Yeah.
to their service.
Could
That'd be
could
crazy.
happen. Could
You
happen.
know?
Either one, either Sony or Microsoft could buy From Software, but it sounds like From Software is pretty content
Yeah.
with have the
They don't wanna
freedom
be
that they
bought,
have.
yeah.
So I don't know if they would have want a Bungie like deal. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah,
it was
they don't want to be bought, but I don't know if they have a parent company or not. Like, good example, Bethesda. Bethesda did not want to be purchased. And you could tell Todd Howard was like, "What? Wait, I have a new boss now." Nobody wanted that to happen. You know, like, I'm sure they're still shook trying to work through that, having a new boss. You know.
Yeah, well, Activision Blizzard was begging to be bought, so
Oh, they were, man. They absolutely were, and I truly hope that they pull that company out from the trenches because it was my childhood dream company. Not Activision, fuck Activision. Excuse my French, but Blizzard was my like I said, I had posters on my childhood bedroom wall of this company. You know, I semi borderline worshipped the founders of that company. So I hope that they can at least get a better name because right now, because even for like, it's not even been recent. It's been for years now. Blizzard has had a pretty bad name, so I hope they can pull them out. The reason being is because they have so much good IP. Like recently, I've been playing a lot of Heroes of the Storm with my girlfriend, and it's a great game, and I really enjoy the game. And it's just sad because the shop hasn't been updated in 2 years. So I've been looking at the same in-game items. I keep getting the same shit, and I'm just so glad at least they still cycle through the heroes weekly or whatever. But I would love it if they got more involved in that game again, or like because it had a big league as well. You know, like if they were going to get back into the esports league, I'm sure Overwatch 2 is going to be great when it comes out. You know, I actually think Diablo Immortal, which I'm going to bring up later, is coming out to iOS soon. I think. Don't know when it's going to come to Android. I think that's going to do really well for a mobile game because even though people were crapping on it essentially when it was announced because it was tone deaf. That's why they announced the mobile game before they announced Diablo 4. That's why people were upset. If they literally switched those announcements, they would have literally could have avoided so much backlash.
Mm.
But anyways, so I think that's going to do well for them. They're going to have a couple games that come out that are good for them. But what really needs to happen is their workplace needs to change,
Mm.
Both Activision and Blizzard.
Yeah.
A lot of these video game companies, they need to make some serious changes internally, because video game culture can be quite toxic.
On a side note, I saw that they had settled some of the sexual harassment lawsuits. I think they paid out $18 million. So I don't know. I don't know if that is all of the lawsuits or only partial of, because I know there were multiple.
There was more things coming out as well
Yeah.
about Blizzard and sexism as well.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I couldn't find the article, but I'll just mention it now as well. But I believe Amaranth bought stock into Blizzard, like a fair amount of stock to hopefully, like to have a voice for women in gaming as well.
All right, let's move on to the next topic, which is pretty big, but we'll see how big it is in terms of how this will affect this event in the future. But E3 is officially canceled for 2022. So last year they did not have an in-person event, but they did have a digital version.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does this mean no online version either?
Yeah, there's no digital version, no online either. So last year there was. I can't remember.
I figured they just would have stayed digital after last year. I figured just moving forward, because it makes more sense. They can save money. Well, I mean, I guess
well,
they
the
made
thing
a lot
is
of
that
money from
yes,
people
that's
going
the
in,
thing. They were making money not only from people coming in, but they were charging the studios the floor space.
That's true. So they were making a lot of money that way. But I mean, like going digital, they could save a lot of money with production costs and having to spend less and just doing everything from a very small indoor studio.
Yeah, but
the point is, I figured there would have, like, why cancel it? Especially when you can just do a small digital version. Like, yeah, I'm sure people would have liked
it's
to
probably
have
the
actual
studios.
E3, but
It's probably the studios. My guess. Remember, Sony had already, Sony
dropped out. Yeah,
dropped out. Sony to me pulled. I guess this is gonna only be known by a small select people, but Apple did the same thing for NAB. NAB is the National Association of Broadcasters. It's like where they show off all the camera gear and editing, all that stuff. So like Adobe and Apple used to go. Apple, Adobe, Sony, Canon, like all the big Blackmagic, all the big camera gear and software.
Like Sony,
Apple pulled out of there many years ago, and then what they did was they would just have their own thing at the same time in the same city, just not part of the official festivities. And I feel like that's kind of the way that Sony went. It's like, okay,
I remember Sony said that they were like, we get more out of doing smaller events in like other countries and cities. They're like, I remember they put out a statement like the first time they pulled out of E3. I still remember them saying, they were like, essentially they said that they feel like they get more marketing out of doing their own smaller events over the course of the year, like state of play and things like that. You know what I mean? Like they're just doing their own things, and they said that they're getting more out of it, which I believe. Like I've always loved E3. Like even as a child, I used to love, like, especially just all the trailers and stuff, and having like just a day or two of like epic fucking trailers. You know what I mean? Like I used to love that. Or I used to get like back when magazines were a thing, and getting CDs with your magazines were a thing. Obviously, living in South Africa, the only way I could enjoy E3 was by waiting for the magazine to come out with the DVD with all the trailers on it, and that's how I used to watch them. And I have such like nostalgia thinking about that. So it's like that's the one thing where it's like I've also never really gotten the chance to go to E3, and it seems like in the future I'm not going to get a chance, because you're right. It's just studios are pulling out left, right, and center. I think maybe in the future, like.
They said they're coming back in 2023. Now, this is the big question. Are they really?
Maybe
they said they're going to have a reinvigorated showcase. The question, that's their statement. The question is that actually going to happen? Are they coming back? What if, I would assume this time it's, with COVID and like it kind of being, it's weird because like COVID, I don't know how it is over there in South Africa, but here in the US, it's like, every month or so it's like a different, like, things are better now. Oh, things are worse. Things are better. It's like things are better now, so let's not wear masks. And then all of a sudden, oh, things
Or worse, let's
or
wear
yeah,
masks
worse
again.
because and then so
Yeah.
it's just it's all over the place. So that's kind of where like certain movies didn't get theatrical releases. This probably played a part into E3 planning. Like, do we know in June, are we going to be able, what is COVID going to be like then?
Yeah, you can't really plan an event without knowing the future, like what's if there's going to be a new variant or not. We don't
Yeah,
know.
and then if the
You know.
studios, let's say Microsoft says, I don't know if we want to do an event right now. It's not maybe then the best time or place, or et cetera, et cetera. So if these big
Yeah.
studios aren't coming, then E3 thinks, well, then what's the point? And we're not going to make. They need the bigger studios to come in order to make that money, right? They need the Nintendo, the
Yeah.
Microsoft, and whatnot to come in there to showcase their wares. This
I
actually
feel like
remind.
I feel like Nintendo's probably very on board because they've always been very on board for E3. So I'm sure that they're like the one people that are like, yeah, let's make E3 happen.
So the thing
Yeah.
I have a issue with Sony not being part of E3. This is outside of this cancellation, but and Apple not being part of NAB, which is a total like insider thing, whatever. I'm just comparing these because this is what I've made a point of for many, many years. So Comic-Con is like that too, right? So Comic-Con, they show off their big movies. So you have Marvel, you have DC, you have, a lot of big movie studio
The
companies or TV.
CW as well.
Yeah. And then, I forgot one year, I think maybe Marvel didn't show up or something. Basically, the reason why I don't like this approach of like, well, we're not gonna show up to the big one and we'll do these separate small shows. The reason why I don't like that is that a lot of people, including myself, now that it's not totally required for me to be at all these events, is that sometimes you only have time / money to go to one of these things, right?
True.
Comic-Con, E3, okay, NAB as well, and you kind of just want to be able to see everything. You don't want, like, okay, for example, let's say I go to E3 and I see everything but Sony, and Sony has their own separate thing. Now I got to go. Let's say hypothetically, Sony's is not in Los Angeles, and it's somewhere else. Now I've got to fork up the money and the time and the whatever effort to go to their showcase. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, is like, I like this.
I mean, to play devil's advocate here, I think it is more of a benefit for other people though. In the case of like a lot happens in LA. Like if you don't live in LA, you kind of get screwed when it comes to conventions and events and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So in that sense, it's a big win for the little guy. If there's gonna be like a little small local Sony event in like the Midwest somewhere, I'm sure people would love and appreciate that can't get out to LA.
Sure.
But I get your point of like, I hate it when companies have too many events across the year, but it's for different stuff. You know what I mean? Like when it's like, hey, they announced one thing in this event and another thing at the other event. I get that it makes it all important, but it is like a lot to take in. Like I know Disney does that a lot of the time as well. Like it has its own convention. They announce a lot, which is great.
D23.
But then they also have a bunch of other little like small convention things that they do as well, where they also announce things, and it's easy to miss because you're like, well, why wasn't this mentioned at D23 or
Yeah.
So yeah, that's frustrating. I get that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess from a coverage standpoint and whatever, it's just I don't know.
From a journalistic standpoint, it is annoying. It would involve a lot of travel.
Yeah, and even as a fan, if you I don't know about everybody else, but it's like I don't have that much time in the world to go to like all these different events.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's like it's easier for like everything's all. I understand. I understand the different location ones, right? You have Comic-Con in New York in the fall. You got Comic-Con in the West Coast in San Diego during the summer. Okay, that makes sense, right? You got two different locations. I just don't want two different events
with different news and different announcements.
Yeah, and then maybe they're not even in different locations,
I mean, I would at the end of the day still, like I said, because I agree. I just prefer bigger events. They're just more fun as well. Like, I mean, it's one of those things where it also makes the trip worth it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you're not gonna drive out or fly out to a different state for a small event, but you would if it was E3.
because you
You
get to
would.
see everything, right? Or
Yeah, exactly. And it's a whole like week, isn't it? Or longer. I can't. I'm not too
it
sure.
depends. I think it starts earlier for like press. Press
For
gets
press,
like
I was gonna say for
pr-
journalists, it's about a whole
press. You
week
get
long.
for press. You get like I think 2 days before it's open to the public.
Mm.
And I forgot the way they stagger the
And then I
event.
think like the mornings are for press as well. Like the public can only come
Yeah,
in
you
after
you, you
midday or
go in like
something.
you get like an hour or two earlier
Yeah,
than the public. But anyways, I enjoy E3. I enjoy Comic. I enjoy all these
yeah.
big events, but I do like going to the one big event because that way I can put all my energy and effort and planning for this one thing instead of multiple ones across the
I also think that
year.
it makes the risk bigger for studios, and like I as a consumer love it because if imagine you announce a horrible idea of a game at a very small event, you're gonna have one person go boo or whatever. But if you announce a bad game at E3 or a bad event at E3, people like you'll have hundreds of people booing you, and like the public will react, and I like that. It's I guess like I said, I'm sure a lot of big studios are worried about like BlizzCon, like before like Blizzard was so tone deaf with its announcement at BlizzCon, where they literally had people booing them off stage. You know what I mean? It's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's good when when those things happen. I think because especially when it's like the CEO of the company is getting booed off stage, then he knows, oh wow, something needs to change. Like I got to do something. It's different from him reading a few mean tweets. Like if people are in his face booing him because of a dumb decision,
Yeah. Yeah, I just like being able to go multiple, like especially in that short amount of time. Like I
Community as
remember
well.
I'm going to the Microsoft showcase and then going to the Bethesda showcase all at the same E3. I wasn't invited to the Sony one, but I think I forgot. I think Dorian got invited to the Sony one. So
Dorian was, yeah. I
yeah.
remember
So
Dorian got in.
so you know what I mean. He was able to go to 3 different ones. It's just it's better. Like okay, imagine this. This is what I don't like, and I know they have their own. It's fine if you want to have your own, right? If Bethesda has their own con, you have with is it QuakeCon is their main thing, anyways.
Yeah, I don't know if that's still going. I hope it is.
But what I mean is like okay, you can have your own thing, that's fine, but you still got to come to the big show because if you only have, let's say everyone decided, you know what, screw E3 and we're all going to just do our own thing. Well, guess what? That means you're going to have a Sony showcase somewhere, sometime in the year. Then you're going to have a Microsoft showcase somewhere, sometime in the year. Then you're going to have a Nintendo showcase somewhere, sometime. They're not all at the same time,
It's definitely
same
gonna
place.
like desensitize us as well, and like
And
oversaturate it.
yeah, and Bethesda will have their own. And let's say Naughty Dog decides to do their own. You know what I mean? Like we get to the point where it's like so niche, not niche, but like so segmented, fragmented that it's like, okay, like can I be? I guess like I'm the type of person who enjoys many various. This is me when it comes to movies, television, video games, everything. I like a lot of different things. I'm not like, okay, I only play this one type of game from this one company, and that's all I care about. You know what I mean? So those cons are great for those people. But for someone who like me, who's like, oh, I like all these exclusives on Sony. I like all these exclusives on Microsoft. I like all this indie titles. Or like, you know what I mean? I want to go to one place and check them all out. And I just hope E3 does stay. And it doesn't have to be. I don't have any
It's
vested.
also nice.
I don't have any vested
for
interest in
comparison
E3.
reasons, like
Yeah.
going to one panel and seeing the games they announced, and you're like, whoa, cool. Going to the next studio panel, looking at their games and be like, oh, this was better or this was worse, or I don't. It's just more fun, man. And it also like, I just enjoy it because it's like a week dedicated to gaming usually. You know what I mean? It's like every day like a bunch of trailers are gonna come out because there are
Yeah.
panels every day from different. It's enjoyable. I think like, but it's also at this point in time, with after COVID having happened and just the rough time and place in the world is in. I'm sure that this like E3 getting canceled is on the last thing on people's minds, which is unfortunate. But I do hope that E3 can come back like next year and do really well. Like I
Mhm.
mean, if they get smaller studios involved, that'd be cool too. I do like that, but I do hope that like we said, Bethesda's there. Well, I mean, God, Microsoft owns so many studios they really could do their own big ass event if they wanted
They
to. I
could,
guess
but I'd rather them
they got
not.
so many studios. I'd rather have it together, Microsoft and Sony, like always.
Yeah.
And it was always this thing of like, who's the better panel gonna be? There was like a rivalry. I don't know. I like it, man. Like
Yeah.
it's just better that way. You
Yeah.
want a bit of rivalry and showmanship, and they're always trying to outdo each other. Who's got the better panel? Who's gonna have the awkward rock star come and sing and that nobody knows about? Who's gonna have
Uh,
the awkward dance number?
so are you pretty confident that E3 will be back in 2023? Digital
I do,
or
but
in person?
I do, but I don't think it's gonna involve that many studios or big
Hmm.
studios. I don't. I know Sony's not gonna be there.
Yeah.
I don't. Square Enix maybe, Nintendo definitely, Microsoft. I don't think Microsoft or Sony will be there. In
Really?
turn, I believe that means Bethesda won't be there or anything like that, anything Microsoft owns.
You
I think
gotta
we're gonna see
have.
a lot of smaller studios, which I'm happy for, but like I said, it's not gonna be the big thing that it used to
I
be.
feel like
I
you
think
need
it'll
at
get there
least two.
eventually.
I feel like you need
Two,
the
3 years
two.
from now.
I think you need the big two out of the big three. You need like
No, I
you
agree.
need Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo, Microsoft. You know what I mean? In order for it to be like big. Otherwise,
Yeah. They
so-
can I think you're right. They can still get away with it if it was Microsoft and Nintendo or Sony and Nintendo or
Imagine
whatever.
if
Look,
Imagine Comic Con just had like no Marvel and no DC.
yeah. Look, one thing's for certain, Nintendo will be involved. I don't they just seem to be that way. Like I don't think they have any issues against it. It just seems it's been working for them in the
Mhm.
past, and like I don't think I just know Nintendo's not a fan of change. That's what I do know. So that's how I know that they're going to continue to do
No,
like if there's no E3 this year, then Nintendo will figure out their own little event, but they'll go
no.
back to E3, I'm sure. I
All
think
right.
2 or 3 years from now E3 could be a big thing again. It's just I think it's going to take a while, man.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Nintendo, our next topic, Breath of the Wild sequel has been delayed, pushed back to the spring of 2023. Um, they were aiming for 2022, but they wanted to extend the development time. I know a lot of people, a lot of people have the original game is like one of the best games ever. I haven't played it because I don't have a Switch. A lot of people are much looking forward to this, so a lot of people are disappointed. How do you feel about this?
I mean, I'm not disappointed. I'm more disappointed in the fact that we haven't had a flippin' good trailer or like just something, Like I don't care if they delay the game because I know they're gonna polish it. I know the game's gonna be excellent when it comes out. But God, show us something, show us something. Like I think last time we saw anything, it was a field, Like give us a little bit of something, man. Put some meat on that bone. They're just
Hmm.
throwing bones at us over here. It's I don't think it's going to be genre defining the way the same game was. I think it's going to be very similar to the same game, but just different, new things to do, like maybe new creatures or whatever. But I think it's going to be very similar to the original, and that's okay because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Um, this game was one of my favorite games before Elden Ring came out.
Hmm.
If you do play this game, you'll see how Elden Ring kind of drew from it. A lot
Hmm.
of games are drawing from this game nowadays. But Elden Ring's similar in the sense of like you can just explore and find a random area that clearly the game wants you to explore and then rewards you. And Legend of Zelda is the same, where you see something weird off in the distance, you walk up to it, there's monsters there, you fight them, and you
Hmm.
look around the weird thing and you find something cool. Elden Ring's the very same way in terms of the rewarding exploration. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
and I think
Fallout 3 did that, and obviously the Elder Scrolls games, but they didn't do it the best way in terms of visually.
it would be dungeons. You know what I mean? Like you'd have to like go into it. Yeah, actually, yeah. I'll let you finish what you're saying because
I'm just
that's a good
saying
point.
it's like they actually had that. The problem was they
Mm.
didn't implement it because everything was so spread out. So the
Yeah.
problem with let's say Skyrim or Fallout 3 is like sometimes you would see something in the distance and then you would go walk over there and find it. The problem is that the game is so spread out that was more rare, right? A lot of times you
Yeah.
just be kind of walking in nowhere, and then you'd come upon something. Visually, just wasn't the way that I haven't played Breath of the Wild, so I can't say like what Elden Ring took from it. But in Elden Ring, right, everywhere you go, you see like something off in the distance, to the left, to
And
the
it's
right.
usually epic or cool. Yeah.
Yes, and then it
Like that's
just
the
leads
reason
you
why.
there.
That's the reason why I think it didn't work too well with Fallout, even though like these are the precursors of like Legend of Zelda and Elden Ring. Both obviously took influence from years of RPG games like
Yes.
Fallout.
Yeah.
But the issue with why Fallout 4 was the one I ended up playing the most. Well, no, I played New Vegas the most, I think.
Mhm.
But the point is, it's like you're just looking at like barren, like it's all kind of the same.
Yes.
I love it, but it's like it's barren wasteland, couple dilapidated buildings. You know what I mean? Whereas in Breath of the Wild, for instance, it's like, okay, there's fields. Oh my God, there's a giant spire. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like things stand out more. And it's the same with Elden Ring. Like you look around and something will just stand so far out of place that you're like, I have to go check that out.
Yes.
So like, which is good. It catches your attention. But then also once you get to those places, there actually is something to do, and something to like interact with. I'm looking for, it sucks that this game's coming out later, but at the same time, I'm not in like a super rush. I know people are very disappointed. There are a lot of people disappointed. Well, not disappointed. I guess more sad than disappointed because they want a polished game, so they're willing to wait. But
I think the one issue is
I just hope we get a trailer, man, soon. Like I hope that's all I want.
I think the issue is, and maybe you can speak better because you are a Nintendo Switch owner, is that because Nintendo relies so heavily on their first party exclusive games, which are wonderful, and that's why people buy their products, is that they're so far and few between. Like you're not playing Elden Ring is a third party game, right? It's not exclusive to Microsoft, it's not exclusive to Sony, it's not exclusive to PC. You can play it on any console, and so something like that is not coming to Nintendo, so you don't have those third party games to kind of hold you over until the first party games that you love come out. So
there's
like
a lot of third-party indie games, though, I will say. Like,
Okay.
a lot of third-party indie games get on there, and like you'd be surprised. Like the Outer Worlds is on Nintendo Switch.
yes,
Like,
but that came out late.
Yeah.
That was like
It
what, a
does come
year
out much
later.
later. And I will say the cloud gaming is really bad. Like whenever they release like a obviously next gen game on Nintendo Switch, you know it's going to be cloud based and it's just going to be poor. So never do that. Like it's just one of those things where also like, as a Nintendo Switch owner, and I think most people who play Nintendo Switch will agree with me, it's just a console that is designed so much better for platformers, choice based games, turn based games. It's not really good at first person shooters. Even though you can technically play Apex on there or Fortnite or whatever, Legend of Zelda is third person. It works in that kind of third person puzzle platforming aspect, The games I play most on my Nintendo Switch are usually turn-based games, or any kind of game that has a mechanic that isn't like, because first person doesn't work too well in the Switch, in my opinion. Even if you have it docked on a big screen or whatever, the controllers just don't work well for that kind of stuff. People are disappointed. They're not. I don't know. Point is, people are sad this game's not coming out because it should have come out to this year. If not, I'd go so far as to say that it maybe should have come out last year even. It's been a while. It's been a while since Breath of the Wild. The thing here is like we spoke about Elden Ring. From Software has one IP.
Yeah.
Well, now they have two technically, or like three if you look at it, but they only focus on one IP at a time. With Nintendo, it's like, okay, they're working on the Mario game. Okay, now they're working on the Kirby game. Okay, now they're working on Wii Sports. Okay, now because they have so many games to be working on and I'm sure they delegate a lot within their studio, and I'm sure that they have a lot of workers. But still, it's one of those things where like I'm sure Breath of the Wild was on the back burner while they were working on a new Mario or new Kirby or whatever. I know they worked really hard on the new Kirby. I haven't gotten it yet because Nintendo does not have regional pricing here, so the games they're like $60, which if you're earning money and living in South Africa, it's a bit much, So I'm hoping it gets cheaper, it goes on sale because the new Kirby game does look good, and it did just come out a few days ago.
But the issue though,
I would have done a review on it if I could.
The issue is though, Nintendo is not acquiring. See, the thing that Sony and Microsoft are doing is they're acquiring these other studios so they can make them exclusive, and then to have that churn of titles that are coming out for their platform, and Nintendo has to do it all themselves because a lot of
Yeah.
third-party games are
Well,
not coming to the Switch.
currently they have like 2 or 3 good things going for them, which is something that Sony had going for them, and Sony still does, but Game Pass has just overpowered them, and which is the sense of exclusives. That's Nintendo right now. The number one driving factor behind Nintendo Switch sales is exclusives.
Yes.
People are buying it for Animal Crossing. People are buying it for Pokemon games. People are buying it for Mario games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. And I think that that's still going to carry them for quite a couple of years because they have a hold on so much like great family IP that's going to. And also, like, look, if their new Nintendo Switch Sports does well and becomes an iconic game, it's like I just think I don't think that they're worried, and I don't think that they have any reason to be worried either. Also, because like they're never gonna like not get the good indie games either, because indie games love being on Nintendo Switch because they make way more money. They make like a lot. Indie games sell so much better on the Nintendo Switch platform than they do on Switch. I'm sorry, on Steam, for instance. You know what I mean? Or anywhere else on consoles. Like they just sell so much better on Nintendos because they just play and work better. You know?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the stats. This is a like side note. Speaking of indie games, is how beneficial Game Pass is to indie games.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Like versus like I think AAA titles, they said it's like a 2.5x amount of people that are playing that wouldn't have played it anyways. But like indie games, it's like 8x. You know what I mean? It's like 8 times the amount of people are playing the game that wouldn't have played it before.
I would have been interested in 12 minutes, but I wouldn't have played 12 minutes unless it was on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Tunic was something I was interested in, but I was a bit hesitant of. But it's on Game Pass, so I downloaded it. I haven't tried it yet, but I downloaded it.
Yeah, let me know what you think, because let me know if it's worth downloading. It's gotten pretty good reviews.
Yeah, it's like old school Legend of Zelda vibes,
Yeah.
top-down Legend of Zelda vibes. Like, and I do love that. Love that. The thing is, the game. It's gotten great reviews, like you said, but when I watch the trailer, it looks like it lacks depth. But then I read the reviews, and people are like, it's got so much depth. So it's like, okay,
I can't tell from the trailer.
I gotta get, like, I have to play it, yeah, because from the trailer, it looks like the most vanilla, boring experience. So, but it is getting great reviews. So I was like, let's check it out. I gotta check it out. Also, Kraken Academy is like, that's a small indie game that I never would have played, and I've been enjoying that. It's like a weird, almost like Harry Potter school, but like a weird American version of Kraken Academy. It's out there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. This one, we had done a separate review for Halo episode 1, the premiere episode. The second episode just came out. I watched it. You have not, so I don't want to go into any.
I am going to watch it after this, though.
So we won't go into any spoilers or anything. I don't want to spoil it for you. And if we were to do spoilers, I'd want to do a separate video in itself.
A separate video, yeah.
But
we can do an after show.
If
the show picks up.
Yeah. So basically, my thoughts on this are, because you asked me before the thing is like, oh, was it better or worse than the premiere? And I was like, both. So it's like
both better and worse.
Yeah, there's just it's getting deeper into the story. You're getting to know the characters and some of the lore more, or the TV lore, and some of it pulls from the games, and some of it is completely divergent. Like they've just made up their own thing. So some of it works and some of it doesn't. This episode wasn't particularly like action filled, which is fine. It doesn't need to be.
I was gonna say my assumptions are that they're not going to be doing as much CGI fighting because
it's expensive.
It's expensive, and also like clearly they must know that they're not pulling it off all the way. Like it's not the worst, but it's definitely not the best in some moments, man.
Yes.
Like I said, watching a Spartan do a front flip onto a small tiny car, and the car doesn't even get a dent or scratch or doesn't even wiggle. Yeah. Like no, man, that car should have been crushed.
Yeah, even the physics of the jump were weird too. But besides that, this is one of my issues though, is even though this one didn't have a lot of action, not a lot of visual effects, even some of the sets that are
like practical sets
still don't have kind of I don't know, the polish or the, you
Oh,
know, of something like you would expect a $10 million per episode.
$10 million an episode, man. I was disappointed from the like. I was disappointed knowing that if I had known that they were on like maybe a $2 million budget or something, I'd be like, wow, this actually looks pretty good for that budget. But
Yeah.
$10 million. Look,
Yeah.
man, I don't know. I don't
So,
know like where the money's going. I'm sure they are spending a lot of money on CGI, but some of that stuff that just didn't look that good.
yeah.
Or maybe it was
So,
lack of communication between the director and the CGI director, which is like two
mhm.
different people, you know?
Yeah. So it's still enjoyable to watch. Yes, you kind of have to. If you are a Halo fan, there's parts of it that you may not like because it doesn't fully go with what the Halo, lore of the games is. But if you can kind of tolerate that or okay with that, then it's fine. Like I said, it's the one thing I will say, and this is not a spoiler because if you've already seen the first episode, you would know that Master Chief takes off his helmet, and
Yeah.
there's an article where they interviewed who was it, community 343 community writer Alex Wakeford, and he said that the moment had to be earned and meaningful.
Yeah.
And kind of have
It
to
didn't feel
disagree
that
with
way.
that. Was
Yeah.
maybe he meant, or I guess maybe the reason he says that's because of the reason why he took off the helmet was important. The problem is it can't be that meaningful when you've only known this character, at least the TV version of this character,
Yeah.
for like 30 minutes, and that happens. You know what I mean? Like in The Mandalorian,
Yeah.
I remember you don't see Pablo Pascal's face until I forgot which episode, 4 or 5. It was a few episodes in before you actually
Yeah.
see him remove his helmet. And I didn't feel like they really built up to anything. I mean, it happens in the first
I get
episode.
why they had to. Like, I get why they had to show his face in the first episode. It's because they're like, we can't have this guy acting in the helmet all the time.
That they
It's-
do that
it's
with
the
Pablo
reason- yeah.
Pascal.
I know, but Pablo's built different, man. He really is. But still, it's just I agree with you. Like literally, if they just waited until the second episode at least, like if they just left us in mystery for 1 week, that would have been better than just showing it right away. The thing is as well, like it didn't feel earned and it didn't feel meaningful at all. Like I got why I get why they have to do it in terms of production and filming so that he can film. Most of the scenes I'm assuming in episode 2 is with him without his helmet, of course.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
of
for
course.
no, I guess that's one of my issues with one of my issues with the episode was he has his helmet off so often in it, and sometimes it's for no reason. There's like parts of it where you're like, he should not have his helmet off. like he should have it on at the scene, but because they want to show the actor's face and they want him to see the emotion talking to other people. I mean, he literally has his helmet off for most of the whole episode. So
Yeah,
they are
I will say
really going into that.
at least Spider-Man has always done that, right? Where it's like obviously it's easier to act without the mask on, but they like make sure that that those moments are earned. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
that they're necessary or useful. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Which makes sense. But like, once again, it's a different world though, I suppose, because with Spider-Man, it's like, yeah, if you're talking with your friends inside your house, you don't have to wear your mask. If you're in the Halo universe, there's not a lot of free time to just take off your helmet and chill. You know, like you don't know when you're gonna be getting shot at or whatever.
Exactly.
And you're a Spartan. You know, you gotta keep your helmet on, man.
Exactly.
Anyways, it's. Yeah, so like I said, I get from a production reason, I get why they did that as well, to make it easier, to make the filming process easier. But it didn't feel earned. It didn't feel meaningful. I also understand how it played into the story. It was like, hey, I'm removing my helmet so that you can trust me, and you can point the gun at my head. See, now now I'm vulnerable. I'm being vulnerable in front of you. That was the point of him taking off the mask, and I just felt like I was like, hey, I'd love to see Master Chief vulnerable, but not in episode 1.
Yeah, too soon.
You know?
Too soon. All right, let's move on
I
to.
I still am very interested in the alien artifact though, which like
Yeah,
probably,
it's the MacGuffin.
I'm gonna finish. Yeah, I'm gonna finish watching the show just for that. If you can have that one good element of like mystery in a show, or that one like element of like who done it or what happened, and they never get to it until the end. Like I mean, Lost did it for like 6 seasons,
Yes.
but like it works. It keeps you coming back even if the
Well,
show's bad.
Lost worked because they would give a mystery. Some of them would be long and they wouldn't answer them until the very
Yeah,
end, and some would be
but a
short
lot of
and
them they would solve.
you would
Yeah.
solve the mystery and then a new mystery would show up. So they'd kind of, this seems like there's just this one mystery and it's gonna at
Yeah.
least end, keep going to the end of this first season. They definitely do talk about and go into it in this episode. So yeah, I'm still watching. I'm still enjoying it. It's just,
I usually binge shows like that, but like not the way that they're intended to. Like I don't want to name any shows to like give myself out. I've had a couple really bad guilty pleasure shows that I've watched that I know are bad, but they have that, like you said, they have that one mystery element, and so I'll binge it, but I'll watch it, and then I'll literally like I'll like use my keyboard and just skip through everything that isn't the main like mystery, and I'll just like watch 5 minutes of each episode until I find out what goes on, and I'm like, great, that now I never have to watch that again. It's not the way it's intended to happen, but
Yeah.
seriously, I feel like that's what I would do. That's the best way for me to like talk about this Halo show. Is if all the episodes were out right now, I would have binged it and I would have only watched like half of it. I would have literally skipped through everything that wasn't the alien artifact and carried on with my life.
All right, let's move on to video game / TV related as well.
Yeah, Fallout.
So Fallout, the TV series that's going to be on Amazon, they've cast Yellow Jacket star Ella Purnell as one of the. They keep saying everyone's the lead, so I don't know who's because they're like Walton Goggins, he's the lead. Ella Purnell, she's the lead. Anyways, one of the main characters. I'm hoping. I don't know who the main lead is, but it seems like at least these two will be a big part of the show. I have not seen Yellow Jackets. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I do have Showtime.
What?
I do
Wait,
need to
hold on,
watch
what?
it.
Yellow. I could be wrong, but I think I've a.
It's on
Is it
Showtime.
about like a British? Is it about like a British school of soccer player kids?
I think so. It's like a girl team, a team of girl soccer players like crash lands in the woods. I haven't watched it, so this is basically.
Okay. No, then it's not okay. I was gonna say my friend Maya was just in. Oh no, hers was HBO though. It was just a show about like a female soccer team in the UK. Like college soccer football.
I don't even know if
Yeah.
the Yellow Jackets is a team. I just know that it's a group of women that
Oh, this is
crash land.
2021. Never mind. Well, I mean, this is earlier. Looking at the date, it aired earlier. I was just about to get tripped out because I was like, damn.
Yeah,
I
this is
thought- I
soccer
think
players. Yeah, there's
think my
wildly
friend was on
talented
the
high
show.
school soccer players who become unlucky survivors in a plane crash. It's supposed to be kind of like Lord of the Flies female version in the woods. So I heard a lot of good things about it. I definitely have my queue. It's on Showtime. But anyways, I haven't watched. I haven't watched the show.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking
now
of the Sex Lives of College Girls. It's a very different name.
no, that is definitely
Very
a
different show.
Yeah, that is on HBO. But the thing is I haven't watched Yellow Jacket, so I don't know if it's like coming back for season 2 or not. And if she's gonna be on the show, then obviously either her character dies or what, on the first season.
Well, I think it's obviously going to pay more as well. Who is in charge of this again? Was it HBO? 'Cause
Amazon.
Westworld. Amazon. It's Amazon. Okay, yeah. So she's
it's from the Westworld creators.
Yeah, so
but
they're
it's
gonna get paid.
yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely gonna get paid more. Yeah, if there is a second season, like you said, she's probably gonna get killed off or something.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, looking at her IMDb though, she looks like she's good.
Yeah.
So.
I'm excited for this Fallout show.
I hope it captures the tongue in cheek, like you said.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I know it'll be good. I just hope that it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yes.
Like I want some weird shit, man. Like the ghoul who doesn't know he's a ghoul, or
Yes.
Codsworth, or like just some out like of course have the serious element to it, but man, you gotta have some like really out there stuff happen as well. Like not all the time, but at least sprinkle in a bit of absurdity, and that will be perfect. You know?
Yeah. And also visually spend the money to make it look good.
Yeah, yeah.
Which hopefully they will, because I know, at least from the show's not out yet, but the the Lord of the Rings shows from the trailer looks pretty, looks like they're spending
Oh
a lot
man,
of
you know
money
what
on
would be a
that.
funny character? I'll email or write in about it, but instead of having the ghoul that doesn't know he's a ghoul, they should have a human who thinks he's a ghoul.
No,
That would be a funny character.
definitely.
Or no, he thinks he's a death. What are they called? Death wings or death eaters or um, the death claw. He
Oh,
thinks he.
Deathclaw.
Oh my god, that would be so funny. If there was if there was like a really like frail human being
Hmm.
who thinks he's a death claw. God, that'd be hilarious.
All right, let's move on to the next thing. This one's interesting. There's a
Mm.
report. It's not confirmed, but there's kind of a rumor going around that Xbox Game Pass is going to get a family option later this year. That's going to offer a 5-person plan, which sounds great. I personally won't be
Yeah.
using it because I'm the only person in my family that that,
The game same.
that
Yeah.
games. So not and even with my friends, I don't think Even my
Yeah.
friends who game, it's like,
But for like bigger families, I could see this working out pretty well. Like
yes.
anybody who's got like, I mean, I'm in a really big family, but all my brothers and sisters are either 10 or 20 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So they just not into that or don't have time for it. But like I have friends who are in like a family of like 3 brothers that are the same age. Like this would be great for them, you know. Or
Yeah.
even like I mean like I would get it and then like I know my nephews are into gaming. Maybe I'd like get my nephews on my family account or something, you know.
Yeah. So that's cool.
I
that
do
they're
like
gonna have
that
it.
idea.
Yeah.
Like that's literally more innovative than freaking PlayStation Plus's tier system. Like it's literally more innovative.
Mhm.
A 5-person option, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is actually hilarious. If it works out being cheaper than having 2 Game Pass for PCs prices, I would get it for me because me and my girlfriend have Game Pass or PC. So if it's cheaper than having 2 separate subscriptions, then I'm gonna get it, and me and her will use it. You know?
Possibly.
Yeah.
It would have been perfect for me in college with me and living with
Mm.
all my roommates.
Oh yeah,
and
roommates.
friends.
Yeah, like college. Like that.
Yeah.
Also, great point. I didn't think of that. This would be great for college roommates.
Yeah. All right. Next thing.
I mean, sorry, just to reiterate, I remember when I was in college, I lived in like essentially a frat house. I didn't know it was one until like one of my friends pointed out. They're like, "This is basically a frat house." I was like,
Mhm.
"What?" But we're not a fraternity. And they're like, "Yeah, but you guys basically live like one." And there was like 5 of us living in this like a pretty cool house.
Mhm.
We got a decent amount of decent rent on it, considering where we were in Hollywood. But the point that I'm getting at was everyone in that building besides me had an Xbox. I had a
Mhm.
PlayStation, but every roommate had an Xbox. Like if this was around at that time, it would have been golden for us. Literally
Yeah.
all 5 of us. It would have been perfect.
Yeah. Why couldn't all this new technology have come out back then?
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, if I had an Oculus Quest as a kid, man, I'm telling you now, my childhood would have been freaking amazing. Not that it wasn't, it just would have been like if me and my friends had Oculus Quest when we were kids, yeez, man, that would be crazy.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Oculus Quest, Oculus/Meta Quest, the new branded name. Anyways, they're having their showcase on April 20th. They have this every year. They're gonna, have game announcements and first looks at games. People are speculating on what are they gonna show. Hopefully, the Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed VR games were announced last year, but we haven't seen anything
Splinter Cell's
from
gonna
them.
kick ass, dude.
We heard
When it
about
does
the
come out, it's gonna kick ass. I think.
well, it
Splinter
fits
Cell
VR
makes sense
perfectly.
in VR.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Assassin's Creed, it's a bit out there, you know. Well, it could work because here's the thing: there is a game, I forget what it's called. It's almost like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but in VR.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Viking fighting game, and that looked really sick. So it
Mhm.
depends what route they go. If they're going more the Assassin's route and like being sneaky, and I just feel like I'm sure it'll be fun to sneak around in VR, but it'll get boring real quick, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it'd be cooler to run around. Like if it was like Assassin's Creed Valhalla but in VR, that would be great. That would be freaking amazing.
VR version of
Wait,
what's up?
yeah, I just read that. What? A
Grand
VR
Theft
version
Auto.
of I'm
Grand
sure
Theft
they
Auto.
announced that a while ago, but
Yeah,
I
they
completely
did.
forgot about that.
They did.
What, dude? I would love that. I would
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Do you know what's hilarious about that, Dennis? Is that if it's a VR version of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, that means that millions of people are going to get to experience what it's like to be an African American in a video game. which I'm sure is going to be very eye-opening for a lot of people.
Um, yeah, it's gonna be a interesting one. I don't think it's coming out anytime soon. Because they
I
just
wonder if
announced
that's.
it
I
last
mean,
year.
I guess it's not inappropriate, but I wonder if anybody's going to come out in the future and be like, "That's inappropriate." That you could. I don't know. Man, who knows with
Possible.
woke PC with woke culture nowadays? I don't know. Um, man, I'd play the crap out of that game. That's all I know. I would play like if GTA just or not even San Andreas, but if GTA 5 was in a VR game, I would my dude, I would play the crap out of that game all day, every day.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I mean, the thing is you know how big I am on VR, and then
Mm.
especially my boss Mark, he absolutely loves VR. My only issue is that we're not getting enough big titles, for
I just
VR.
realized, Dennis, this showcase is on 420.
Oh,
I think that's got to be planned. They're having a VR gaming showcase on 420. Come
mm,
on, that's
yeah,
planned. They know what they're doing.
yeah.
Look, man,
Uh,
stoners love VR as well. Okay,
yeah.
it's a
I
known
mean,
fact.
it's
Whoa, trippy! They love it,
yeah,
man.
it's something that's already trippy that gets enhanced.
Yeah,
But yeah, my only issue right now is like you're getting good games from VR. The problem is they're just not coming, that
steadily,
often.
you know,
They're just yeah,
or they're
you're
not
not
advertised that well.
you're
Like
not
I
getting
look at
consistent
Steam.
flow.
Yeah. Steam gets a fair amount of VR games, but they're like 50%. It's like 50-50. They're either going to be trash or they're really good and they're just like they have no marketing.
I
Like I've
think
seen some like hidden gems on there, man.
I think Medal of Honor kind of because it didn't do as well as they had planned. Because like Half-Life Alyx was like the big AAA
Mm.
title for VR. It came out,
It, wa-
everyone
it
loved
was the
it.
pinnacle,
It
man. Well, it
sold
still is the
well.
pinnacle.
Yes, and then Medal of Honor came out, and that was supposed to be like the next AAA. It was Respawn. It's a known title, and it kind of came out to mixed reviews.
Mm.
People were like, "Oh, some of it's good, some of it's not so much," and so it kind of tempered people's, especially studios, like, "Oh well, looks if Respawn puts all this money in whatnot into it, and they still, weren't able to sell X amount, like." We've got to kind of rethink what we can do, So, and remember, the most popular VR game of all time is Beat Saber. You know what I mean? And
True.
it's not like a narrative game. It's not like a heavy graphics game. It's just
It's
a,
an arcade game. Straight up
yeah,
arcade game.
yeah. It's Guitar Hero, right?
Yeah.
It's Guitar Hero in VR. Um, so, anyways, I'm looking forward to that. I hope we get to see, some footage of those games that they were talking about, and hopefully some new announcements because VR has a lot of potential, and some of that potential has been realized, but there's so much more that can be done. So
Yeah.
looking forward to that, and we'll cover that once that comes out. I think that may be everything I have,
I
other
got a
than
couple
talking
small
about
things here.
other than talking about Elden Ring.
All day, every day, man.
Yeah,
I think I can feel the itch coming back to me. And I always said I haven't played Elden Ring in a while because it's
yeah.
like not having the time. Like I have it, like I have time, like free time, but not Elden Ring free time. Elden Ring free
Mhm.
time is like I need a day off, you know. I've just been really busy, but also like I just haven't felt the itch, and it's one of those things where I'm not gonna play a game unless I want to, you know. And I feel like I've been feeling that itch lately to hop back into Elden Ring because I know the next time I hop into Elden Ring, it's gonna be another 30, 40 hours of just that, you know, which I'm looking forward to. I've beaten Radahn, but
Mhm.
I still have so much more to do and to figure out. Um, I haven't gotten to Godfrey yet. That's the thing. Have you beaten Godfrey?
Yes,
Yeah,
finally.
I haven't even gotten there yet. Um,
It's all about
I
leveling up because you first get to a boss,
yeah.
you get your ass kicked, and then you just got to go level up. The thing
I
that I'm
found out
having,
for sorry, I found out for all those main, and you're the people that you're the person that opened me up to this conception, and then I looked into it and like I saw YouTube videos about it and people talking about it, which is that the main bosses, you know how like you had you had an item for
yeah,
Margit to like shackle her,
yeah,
every single main boss somewhere on the map at some point you're able to get an item that can help you in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a certain like I know for Godfrey, for one of the things he does, was it Godfrey or was it? No, I think it's actually like another late game boss later on. One of the abilities he does is so difficult to evade and it's so damn impossible. But there's like a thing you can like it's one of those things that you can mix into your wondrous flask of physic. It literally negates that ability, which is so like niche and weird. Like who would know that? You know what I mean? But so like for each of those like main bosses in the game, there is somewhere out there in the game, there's some kind of item that specifically can help against just that boss.
Which
And
is
I think that's so cool. You know?
yeah. Well, I mean, for one of them, it's like really obvious, which is when you fight basically the end boss for Volcano Manor, which by the way is actually a optional boss, even though you get a remembrance, because you don't have to do the Volcano Manor stuff.
I think isn't Radon also optional?
Yes, Radon is optional as well. But the main Serpent Lord King or whatever at Volcano Manor, literally when you walk in there, they give you a weapon that you use to fight with. It's called the Serpent Hunter, and the funny thing about it is like the weapon is only good fighting him. The weapon's not good.
There's one or two other serpents it works against as well, I think.
Yeah, it only works well against serpent. You know, it's interesting.
Like, specifically serpents, and there's actually surprisingly few serpents in that game. You know.
Yes.
And there are some things that look like serpents but don't actually qualify as a serpent. You know what I mean? So it is like a very niche thing. But I just love the depth to Elden Ring and how much thought they put into the items and how they interact with each other.
It's crazy.
And they fixed a lot of it, but some of it's still amazing. I actually installed a mod just for shits and giggles because it looked so much fun.
The Tekken mod?
No. The Tekken mod is a Tekken mod. It's a mod for Tekken.
Oh, okay.
It's not for Elden Ring. It's just they used all the assets from Elden Ring to make the mod for Tekken. So it's built on the Tekken engine. That's why it looks so good as a fighting game, which we'll get into. I'm going to get into that mod now because it's the creator of Tekken is asking them to stop because people are saying that it looks so good and it looks like even the creator of Tekken is like it looks so good that it's believable, and even he believed it and a lot of people believe it. And the thing is, it's like obviously better than any DLC they've ever done before in their entire life. So they were like, hey, chill out. It's like they're getting flexed on. I do own Tekken 7, and I actually do want to check out the mod before it gets pulled down because it looks great. Like it looks awesome, dude. It's literally Tekken, but as Elden Ring characters. Do
you know which characters?
Quite a few of them. Yeah, let me get. I think I got a list here. I wonder there should be. One of these articles will cover it. Okay, here we go. Does PC Gamer list them? Like, I know that there's a couple, like Radon for sure. I know you can play as Radon. Melania. The Prisoner Tarnished. I saw that. You can play as the Prisoner. You can play as Alexander the Pot, Rani, the Giant Lobster, Rani. So there's quite a lot, actually. I think it's quite cool. But it looks... I can't believe how good it looks because they took all the assets from Elden Ring. So even like the stages and stuff, like it's crazy how good it is. Apparently, that's why I really want to try it out for myself. But people love the mod, and yeah, it looks like an actual crossover that could have happened between the companies. Like it looks like something they could have actually done, which I think is impressive. No, the mod I installed I did it on a separate playthrough just because I thought I wanted to play around because it makes the game so much easier. But the Moonlight Katana.
Yeah.
It just extends the reach of that that slash attack where it shoots out the moonlight blade. It doesn't make the blade longer or anything. It just makes the range longer because there's this anime I used to watch called Bleach, and the main character has a move called like Getsuga Tensho, which is essentially the Moonlight Katana and its ability, but they just decided to make it longer, and it was just fun to play around with. But then I deleted that mod and save because Elden Ring's about going through difficult times and overcoming it, and it's the reward. If you play that game, like the game shouldn't have an easy mode. I think like if you know how to play the game and know how to use the exploits, technically the game is easy if you know how to use it. If you can work around it and know how to
Yeah, I am the proponent of easy modes in games should happen. In this game, I'm against it because you don't need one because all you have to do is go level up. You don't have
Yeah.
to. There's no
It's
need for an
also
easy
yeah.
mode because I
It's also
I,
like yeah.
I was just saying I'm not great at this game, and every time I get
Oh yeah.
stuck, I just go level up. I just go spend some time, level up my character stats,
I will
level
say
up
I
my
finally learned how to
swords.
parry in this game. Like I finally learned how to parry instead of just dodge rolling. Like I still dodge roll like crazy all the time, and I parry dodge. I mean, panic dodge roll, which is not good. But I've learned how to parry, and it's been so useful. Like not with my obviously my mage does. My mage
Hmm.
stays a hell of far away, and I use summons and stuff.
Hmm.
But I've been playing like samurai, and I've been learning how to parry, which is really good. Um, the thing is, and this seems to be a universal thing with this Elden Ring game, with I see a lot of content creators, and not just that, but friends who play the game, where if they get like a super OP weapon, they're like, "Oh, this is so awesome!" But then as soon as they use it on a boss, they
Hmm.
feel They feel like they cheated themselves. You know, like I feel like if I do a boss fight and I like whip its ass like instantly because I might be like over leveled or something,
Hmm.
it's like it's still rewarding, but it's just way less like part of you feels like you cheesed it. You didn't do it right, you know what I mean? Like I know a lot of people who play the game refuse to use summons because they want that extra
Uh,
edge. Me, I am
I
going to use
I
my
need
summons
it.
because I struggle with the summons, you know? Like
Yeah.
even with summons, I struggle to fight things. So I have that reward, but I have had like a few moments where I've like used like I got a really like overpowered spell like that works well with my staff and my headgear and like it all like conjoins and then I shoot a spell and it just one hits something and I'm like, well, that was boring, you know? Yeah.
Well, I
It's
haven't
not
done.
really boring, but it's like you just feel cheated.
I haven't OP killed any main bosses. They all
Oh,
were
it's because well, you
something
go for the
like that.
melee build. I will
Yeah,
say that the more I've played the game with my mage, I have realized that the mage kind of is the easy mode of the game. You know,
because you're
like
shooting
I would.
from
It's not.
afar.
Yeah, like in certain situations you're screwed. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like against the knights where you can't do summons, you're like you just have to play time. You just have to roll, 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 get a hit in, roll, 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 roll,
Hmm.
get it. You know what I mean? It's just that's why I've also been playing the samurai in my spare time because it's just been like at certain points it's more enjoyable. But like because I find building my mage up enjoyable to be like I find making him overpowered is fun. Using him when he's overpowered is not fun, but making him overpowered,
Hmm.
grinding certain things and like doing difficult things to get really overpowered gear and stuff, I love doing that. But with my samurai, I'm like I just want to be like the right level. You know what I mean? I don't
Hmm.
want to be overpowered either. And I've been finding that a lot more fun as well because there's something I don't know, like there's something about beating a big boss melee, like up
Hmm.
close and personal and not from far away. There's
Hmm.
something about that that just feels so rewarding, man. It just feels so good. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like
The
I've memorized Margit to the point because I played the first part of that
uh-huh.
game so many times where like I can probably beat Margit as the wretch now. That's how confident I am. It would take long. It would take me very long, but I think I could do it.
Hmm.
Just using like simple summons and just the freaking like no clothes and a bat because you just learn the move set and you get confidence in being able to dodge it all. You know.
Hmm. So the only
But yeah.
bosses that I felt like bad about like OP killing were the catacomb bosses that would come to
Mm.
sometimes, and I would because when I start off and I go into the boss fight, I don't know how good they are. So right off the bat, I call my summons because I don't know if I need them or
Yeah.
not. And then sometimes like, oh, with my summons and how powerful I am, I kill the boss very easily. But those are only for those like catacomb or ruins bosses,
Like it's
never
like
for the
usually
big
when you
bosses.
miss one from the beginning or something. I feel you. Like it happened to me where like there was some catacombs I missed in Limgrave,
Yeah.
and I went back because I needed the items, and I went there and I would use my summons, and then like I would realize how strong I am and my summons are, and I would just let my summons kill it, and it
Hmm.
just doesn't feel good. Like it's like
No.
I didn't even hit the dude. You know what I mean? And my
Yeah.
wolves like killed him because they
Yeah.
were so overpowered.
Yeah. So that's probably the only time I feel bad. All the main bosses I've never easily killed. They all took many times. Um,
Yeah.
so
Like the main bosses, like it took me forever to beat Radon, even with all the summons.
mhm.
Like it took me forever. Um, but yeah, I managed to get it. Like I said, when I did finally beat Radon, I felt like it was too easy. But I did
Mhm.
struggle up until that point. I just had a very lucky run, and I kind of wish I could have did it again or something. Um, but yeah,
Have you gone to the capital yet? The royal capital yet?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm trying to get to the Volcano Manor place currently. 'Cause
Okay.
there's
I
a
mean, the
lot
volcano
of really
manor's
yeah.
the volcano manor's optional. Oh, did you get the
Yeah.
invitation? Did you get the invitation to the Volcano Manor?
Yeah, I didn't like. I think I did like way back because that was like an NPC, right? You help her and then
Yes.
she gives you.
Yes.
Yeah, I got the invitation
You
like a
you
long
you
time
beat
ago.
up or kill the prawn the prawn shack guy,
Yeah,
and then you
or you can just buy it from him for like I just
yeah
bought the talisman
I
from him for
killed
like a
him
hundred
because he was
bucks.
being a dick.
Yeah, actually I
If
wanted
he
to
was
kill him.
nice, I would have buy it from him, but then he was being
Yeah,
a
you
dick,
get
so
the
I killed him.
you get the bell bearing from him anyways. I mean
You
that's the
kill
nice
him,
thing about
you get it
NPCs.
too.
Yeah, if you kill your NPCs, like you can get the bell bearing. It's not that bad.
Um,
Um,
but
yeah.
yeah, there's a mini boss in front of the Capitol that called the Draconian Tree Sentinel. Is basically like the Tree Sentinel you fight in
Mm,
the beginning of the game, but he's even harder. Dude,
yeah.
I played the shit out of that. I played so many times to beat that guy. So when I finally beat him, I felt great about. I was like, I had to use summons, because he was a cheating bastard. There's certain bosses that are
Yeah.
a bunch of cheaters. They're like the kind
There
where like
was
they know
yeah, there
that
was
your their health is low, and they'll just bust out like some sort of heavy hit move that will like drain all of your
I
health.
bumped into two tree sentinels once on one of my playthroughs.
Two.
Not my current one, but two, yeah, two like of the beginning ones, like the exact same beginning tree sentinel you see, but
Hmm.
two of them right next to each other. And that's just there was no way. Even with my summons, I was like, there was no way. Like the thing is, like, if you can just get the one down, it's a lot easier. But man, that was tricky. I was just like, you know what? Also, as far as I knew, there wasn't any rare loot from them that I already got like my cool tree sentinel stuff. So I was like, I'm out. Peace out.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. Is there any other stuff
I
you
got a
have
bunch
on
of
you?
just small little things we
Okay.
can talk about real quick. Right off the bat, while we're talking about Elden Ring, this is something I saw amazing, which is there's a former firefighter who is paralyzed. He plays games by blowing into tubes.
Uh,
He beat Elden Ring by
wow.
blow like
Wow.
he's a paralyzed gamer and he beat Elden Ring just by blowing into tubes.
That's crazy.
Like it's insane. I'm watching it right now. Like he's fully paralyzed. He's just moving his head and he's like got this little thing in front
Uh
of him.
huh.
I'm so curious as to how it works.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's a Chinese streamer.
I
That's
feel
really really cool. I
I
wanted to
feel
bring
so
that up.
pitiful now. Like,
I
here I
know.
am using my all my hands and I
I still
suck so
can't beat it.
bad.
This dude's blowing into tubes. He's parrying things. He's killing it. Oh, The Witcher is getting an official cookbook. People thought it was an April Fool's joke
Uh,
because it is April Fool's today as of this
yes.
filming. Um,
Yes.
but it is not an April Fool's joke. It is an actual
Yeah.
official cookbook from the Witcher series, which I think is cool.
Dude, this Tekken thing is
Um,
awesome. I'm looking at it right now.
I
The
know, right? It looks so
like
sick.
the
Like it actually looks
well, the
sick.
problem is the graphics look better than Elden Ring.
I know. Like that's the problem is that it looks so good. It looks so much better than anything that either of those companies could have done if they worked together, you know? It's insane. Um yeah, I don't know what the hell this means, but the Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt, the Battle Royale, it apparently launches in April, but it's been on PC for more than a year. Do they mean
Hmm.
like console release? I don't know. The fact that this game's still going, I played it for a week, I enjoyed it for a few days, and then I realized that there's zero depth. It's just like you have this cool vampire, like I love the Vampire the Masquerade, that whole it's a tabletop RPG. It was an old school RPG. We were supposed to get the second RPG after like 20 freaking years,
Hmm.
like a year ago, and then now they've halted it indefinitely, halted production of it. Now there's just a text-based game. Anyways, I digress. I love that world, but the guns and having like there are guns in that universe. Like that's how the game works. You know, there are like guns and like
Hmm.
melee weapons, and that's always been in the RPG, the tabletop as well. So it makes sense. But in the battle royale, it just like defeats the purpose of having all these cool vampiric abilities. People can just fucking like snipe you, you
Hmm.
know, or just shoot you. Just I don't know. The game was only fun for a little bit. I didn't enjoy it too much. This is something I did not hear about, but so on Twitch, there's something called pay channel boosts, where you can pay to have certain channels boosted on the Twitch website so that they
Hmm.
show up on the main page. And
Hmm.
Twitch has halted they've halted all their paid channel boosts because apparently people were paying to get porn on the front page of Twitch.
Nah.
They were just like they were boosting channels that were clearly like, which
Like,
is, I
yeah.
mean, of course they have to like halt it because it's like man, that's, I love that. It's like it's something implemented by Twitch to help the community, and the community's like, we're gonna screw with you, Twitch.
Mhm.
It's a little, so like a little smack in the face towards Twitch, which is not cool. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, that was worth mentioning. This is something I'm most interested about. Hyperlight Drifter is a fantastic game that I absolutely loved, and it's getting a sequel called Hyperlight Breaker, and it's going to be a 3D roguelite with co-op,
Hmm.
which I'm so excited for, and I'm glad. It's interesting they went this route, but I also think that they took inspiration from Risk of Rain. Risk of Rain, the original Risk of Rain, is one of my favorite indie games of all time, point blank. It was the first proper roguelite game I had ever played. Ever. Well, I played a couple up until that point, but that was the first like big, proper, in-depth one that had so many like roguelike elements. So when they made Risk of Rain 2, they went full 3D. They went from 2D to 3D. So Hyperlight Drifter going into Hyperlight Breaker, doing the same thing, but they're also adding co-op, which I love. I think there's a trailer as well. The trailer looks pretty interesting. I haven't seen too much about it. It's mainly an animated trailer with a little bit of gameplay at the end. And I mean like 2D animated trailer, you know, like not CGI cutscene. But I'm excited to see where that's going to come from the future. If I recall, I could be wrong about this, but I believe the original idea behind Hyperlight Drifter was actually to deal with the creator's cancer, or like it was
Mm.
like you're technically like in your, like the levels were supposed to symbolize your body and going in to fight the cancer, and I remember it had a lot of meaning like that. But regardless of that, it's a fun game. It's just a fun game. I highly recommend people play it. The sequel looks sick. It's going to be in 3D. I'm so excited for that. Okay, we spoke about the Tekken thing. Not that anybody's playing Marvel's Avengers, but if you are, apparently there's a bug that can only be fixed by deleting all your progress, which is absurd. I don't know how the game got more broken. It's on PS5 apparently, so maybe it's just the PS5 version of the game. But it, like,
That's the version I have, is the PS5 version.
yeah, apparently there's a bug, and the only way to fix the bug is to literally delete your progress and start over, that's the worst kind of bug you can get,
Yeah.
you know.
Avengers had
But
a
hey,
lot of potential, but
yeah, but it's just like at this point, who cares? No one's playing the game. Like they've already crapped the bed on that one. They could have done such better job, and they just didn't. Anyways, Fortnite actually released a game mode that got me back into it, which is the no build game mode.
yeah, I heard
Fortnite,
about that.
which is known for building, and that's the reason I don't play the game too much anymore. Is because it's like I got like 12-year-old kids like cranking 90s on me, man, just popping 90s like a motherfucker, and I'm sitting there struggling to build a tiny little house, and by the time I've built my like 4 walls around myself, I look up and there's just towers everywhere, people just shooting at me, you know. And like it was fun. Like I said, I used to love playing Fortnite when it came out, but it got to a point where everyone got so good at that game, like that you just fell behind. So they removed building, and I really enjoyed it. I played it. Actually, I had a lot of fun with it because now it's kind of like a third-person battle royale, just a normal one. Instead, they've added functions where you can jump higher, which is good because when I was playing the game, I was stuck in a hole, and usually you build your way out, and I was like, crap, what do I do here? And then I see you can jump higher and you can climb as well, like climb onto ledges. So they've added like more parkour mechanics, seeing as you can't build, which makes sense. But it's fun, and it's supposedly so popular that it is staying. It is going to be a permanent mode, which I'm glad for, because like I said, I like it more than the normal mode personally. I think it's really fun, you know. It just, I don't know, it just makes it feels like the game is more. I wouldn't say, not the game wasn't fair before the time, but it's like with Fortnite's the kind of game where you can be the best aim, you can have the best aim in the world, but it does not matter. It does not matter, you know, because people are building around you and just building like. But now it's like your aim finally matters again in Fortnite, which I like. There's an update to New World, and apparently they finally finished the game's main storyline. You know, the biggest issue that New World had was that the first 20 levels of that game are flawless. Honestly, New World as an MMORPG, the first like 20 levels or so are flawless, and I love it. But beyond that, it's like the end game was just not there. It was useless. So supposedly this at least finishes the end of the game's main story. So at least this main story of the game is now finished, and it seems like there's more story there and behind that. Sorry, I was just had a bit of heartburn there. Anyways, but I hope now that this is out, they can also focus on endgame raids and actually make the end game better. Because like I said, it's a great with an MMORPG, you can have an amazing story, but if people have no reason to stay after that, you fail as an MMO. You know what I mean? Like if people are just gonna play your game, play the story, and then like not play it again, you've essentially failed as an MMO, as an online multiplayer game.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that they're able to fix that. But so I might hop into New World again at some point to see if I can finish the story, because I couldn't like once I got past level 20, the game just kind of started getting dull.
Sometimes happens.
Yeah, I believe, and then there's not much to talk about here, which I mentioned it earlier, but Diablo Immortal, which is the mobile version of Diablo, it's essentially Diablo 3, because they use a lot of the same assets from Diablo 3, like text and everything. But from what I've been told from people who have played it, apparently it works. Apparently it works really well on mobile. It's coming to iOS in June, on June 30th, which is kind of soon. No news about Android, unfortunately, because I'm on Android, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm on Android
I
as
hope
well.
I like it. The thing is, I actually would like to play this game on mobile. I know you're not much of a mobile gamer.
Nah.
I play idle games, or games that like you can play for 5 minutes at a time. But this like if this is good, that'd still be cool, because then I can like lie in bed at night and play some old school, like play some Diablo. One Piece Odyssey was announced, which got a lot of hype in the anime community, because there's One Piece games are quite fun, and I'd say the last like open world One Piece game they did, I think it was called World Breaker. I could be wrong. It was it was mediocre. I'd say that it wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was good. It was fun, but there's something lacking to it, where like the game felt very repetitive. And now they're finally, what they should have done with that game is they're doing a JRPG. They're doing an actual RPG game, whereas previously they've done like the most popular One Piece games, in my opinion, are based off of Dynasty Warriors. They're the Warriors series, like same as they did it for Legend of Zelda. They did it for they do it for a lot of series. They do that. It's just the style of game is like that Warriors genre.
Mm-hmm.
And those were amazing. I love One Piece, Pirate Warriors 3 and 4. Those are two of my favorite games of all time, and I do love One Piece. I've watched more than 1,000 episodes to date, which is crazy to consider. But yeah, there is very little shown in this, and I'll be honest, the graphics are like they're not the best. They're not bad either, but they actually look like they're worse than their previous game. But I'm more than happy to overlook bad graphics if it has good RPG mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing that sells this game the most is that it's an original story told by Ichiro Oda, which is the author of One Piece. Like every other One Piece game has either been, following the anime, or they just do their own thing, their own story, and it's weird. You know what I mean? Like One Piece is a weird anime, but it's a very specific type of weirdness.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that the author is doing the story of this is just, it's exciting. I have a lot more hope for it. Even like it's one of those things where I feel like even if the game is bad, I know the story is going to be good. Like I know it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was One Piece Odyssey. I would like to mention a game which is oh no, I lost the name of it now. It was an indie game. I was just going to mention for people to buy it. Vampire Survivors, that's it. I recommend anybody play it. I like it.
What type of game is it?
It's a roguelite game, and it's like 8-bit, or like not even, maybe it's 4-bit. It looks
4-bit.
like it looks like really old school Castlevania graphics. People were wondering if they took models from Castlevania, but they did not. It's a roguelite game. It doesn't look like much if you look at clips of it, but it blew up. Like it is so popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think it costs like $1 or $2 or something. I don't know. Like it's so cheap. It's but yeah, it's so fun. People are loving the game. So I just recommend that game if you want to check it out. And then did we talk about this on the last podcast, GTA Plus? The online subscription service for GTA.
I don't
remember.
So
GTA Plus is
I know
$6.
what it is.
Yeah, people weren't too happy about this. It's $6 a month, and it gives subscribers a reoccurring monthly deposit of $500,000. So you get in-game money, of course.
Yes.
You get $500,000 of in-game money in GTA for $6 a month, and I'm sure there's more to it too. There is going to be a wide range of members only bonuses, including exclusive properties. Okay, so okay. They are adding way more to it. So there's going to be exclusive properties, vehicles, upgrades, discounts, and cash and RP bonuses. Okay, so they're doing more than just the money. I do like that. It
Reminds
seems like
me
something
of
that would.
Fallout 76. Remember they had their
Yeah,
monthly
yeah.
subscription plan for things that should have
Yeah.
been included. You know what I mean?
Let's see. The first month of GTA Plus, which will span from March 29th to March 27th, April 27th. Sorry. So yeah, you get $500,000 available to withdraw from your bank account right away. The Princip de Veste 8. It's a supercar. I probably butchered the name of that. It's a supercar that comes with How Special Works upgrade and man, I can't pronounce these other cars and weird things. So this car will eventually be available to public, but it's open to GTA Plus members first. The Auto Shop property located in La Mesa introduces an assortment of gameplay updates from Los Santos tuners. So like out there, that means that customization for cars has been updated for members. Waived the Alice Car Meet membership fees. Current Alice Car Meets with GTA Plus will be reimbursed. Okay. Yacht owners can upgrade to the Aquarius Super Yacht at no additional cost. That's great because that would usually cost you an extra $10 or $20 in game. I mean, in real life. There's some weird shirts and hats coming out as well. The point is there is more content, which I was not expecting. I thought it was just going to be like a monthly. Hey, you're just going to get your monthly allowance. You gave us $6 a month. Here's like half a $500,000 every month. I thought it was gonna left at that. The fact that there is extra added content makes it seem like it's actually worthwhile. It's just one of those things where I wonder if it's not too little too late, but it's like GTA Online is a massively popular game. I get that, and especially moving forward with Grand Theft Auto role-playing servers with Twitch streamers and stuff. But I feel like they would have made more money if they did this like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. You know, for sure. Like there was a lot more hype for the game online back then as well. But I think they'll make money with this. It's one of those things where like I would consider it just for like maybe for like 1 month or 2 months, you know? I don't know what the price of money is nowadays. Like I don't know if $6 is worth $500,000. Because I think a million. I think like I could be wrong, but I think like 1.2 million costs like $20 or something. I could be wrong about that. Or maybe $20 gets you 10 million. I don't know what the prices of shark cards are. Worth mentioning because that seems like a better deal than PS Plus Tier 3. I can tell you that. It's and then this is worth talking about as well because Netflix. I remember Netflix getting into the gaming space. They just acquired their third game studio in 6 months. Obviously, this is relating to mobile gaming. In actual fact, I don't know if you've if you used the mobile app on Netflix. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if maybe it's just here then, but like every time I'm on the mobile app on Netflix, there's actually a gaming section.
Yeah,
I don't know if
there's
you've
like
seen it. Yeah.
it's like
It's
a little
there's small stuff in
bar,
games.
but I've never
Yeah.
actually played it. It's like a little bar that says, "Hey, you can play
I
these."
played the Stranger Things game, only because I had already played it before on PC and enjoyed it. But hopefully they can add some. Like at the moment, their catalog is very like meh, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's there and it's already included in the service, I'm not gonna play the games. But hopefully they come up with some really cool cell phone games or something, you know. That seems to be their focus. They're not. It doesn't look like they plan on bringing the games, like streaming the games. It seems like they're gonna be heavily focused on mobile games specifically. And then I think that's all the news I've got. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I guess before we wrap up, obviously I've been playing a ton of Elden Ring. I do want to get back into Halo Infinite, but
Actually was thinking about that as well the other day. I really want to get back into that, even just the multiplayer.
Yeah.
I got a lot of friends playing it now.
Did you finish the game?
The campaign?
Yeah.
No, I'm so close. That's another reason I want to go back. But I actually got the itch to play it because of the campaign first. Not the multiplayer. I'm down to play because I have friends that play it right now too. But I really, even though I didn't finish the campaign, last time I played the campaign, I binged it for like 2 days. Like I really enjoyed the campaign.
Yeah, I mean the combat is top notch. I don't think Halo Infinite in terms of design, in terms of the game level design, is as good as like Halo 3 or something like that, which I think is the best Halo. But the combat, they've gotten pat, they've gotten that loop, game loop down pat, so it's just sometimes, I mean, even fighting regular enemies is just so much fun. But I'm gonna get back into that after I finish Elden Ring, which who knows when that's gonna happen, because every time I think I'm like getting close on Elden Ring, it's just like, oh,
a whole new
here,
part of the map opens up. Yeah.
It's like here, oh, you haven't played this part yet. You just didn't see it yet. Guess what?
I think I think the things that surprise people most is that area after Godfrey. Because once you're at Godfrey, you're like, I'm at the Elder Tree, like the Erd Tree, like this has got to be it, right? And then it's like, nope, there's a whole area north of you, buddy. There's a whole ass area there.
And then there's areas that you don't have to go to if you don't want to, but you can, and why not? So, anyways, that's what I've been playing. Just Elden Ring. I'm hoping this Oculus Quest showcase kind of gets me excited about some upcoming VR games, because I definitely there's some good VR games out there. It's just like I said, they're just only coming out every few months. Every few months there's like a good one. So I'm hoping to check some of that out. What are you playing?
I'm probably gonna hop into Elden Ring again soon. Like I said, it's one of those games where like I legitimately cannot pull myself away from it when I do play it. So I've been like afraid to hop into it again, because I know it's gonna be like another 30-40 hours of my life, which I'm there for, but I need to be ready for that.
Yeah, see, I'm a grinder. I play like 2 to 3 hours a day, and it's just like,
I'd like to do that, but I physically can't put my controller down.
See, for me, it's I think the game stops me. I get to a point where it's like, okay, I don't know what to do, or I'm not progressing, so I just need to take a break. That's like a natural break for me, and then the next day I'll go and tackle it. That's how I felt
after I beat. Like, well, I have to feel the only way I can stop that game is if I feel like I've accomplished enough. Like if I do a boss fight, that's cool. But if I finish like a boss fight in the first hour or two of playing, it's like, no, I've got to go do another one. I feel like I have to earn it, and then it's like, and you spend hours just on one boss fight. Dude, I do love this game, man. It's one of those games where it is one of my favorite games of all time.
Me too.
I know it's this year, but it's like, I know for a fact I'm still gonna be thinking and playing this game 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Same with Skyrim. Like I think, like, I knew when I played Skyrim the first time that I was like, this is one of the greatest games I've ever played, and this is a game that I think I'm gonna play for the rest of my life. And there are certain games that are like that, some that are either perfect for me as a person, or they actually are. Like Elden Ring actually is perfect for anybody. It's just perfect. Like, it's just it's a fantastic game. I can't wait to be like 40 and get like the HHD re-release where we're playing the game in 5D or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I do really hope the game gets some DLC. I don't think it's important. I don't think that a game like this needs DLC, but I do want some. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if we never get any, if they never touch the game after this, I could still be happy and play this game until the day I die. Over and over again.
Well, I mean, the game is
100 different ways with different builds.
Huge. I mean, there's
multiple
so much.
endings.
There's so much to do.
And there's like different endings, and I think there's people are still trying to figure out like some other endings that haven't been discovered yet and stuff. There's so much.
My question is, how are people going to be able to do multiple endings, because there's no save? You're not saving individual files.
From the way it looks like it, you have to literally start fresh to have it. So some of the endings are like built in a way where it's like you're gonna have to start fresh and do certain things like completely different. Oh my god! It's one of those games where you're gonna finish it, get the ending, and be like, wow, this is cool. Then find out there's another ending and have to like start like, because I don't, unless I guess that's what New Game Plus is for. You know what I mean? Is doing the other endings.
I hope so.
Because with New Game Plus, you do get every time you do it, you get 20% more ruins. Like New Game Plus, when you do New Game Plus, you start the game, you automatically will get 20% more ruins than usual because you're in New Game Plus mode. Because that's what makes it worth it, because you're obviously so high level. If you do New Game Plus and you start the game with like level 100 or whatever, it'll take you forever to get to the point to get a level, so they have to give you that extra boost. Yeah. But no, I've been playing a lot of Valorant lately, because it's been easy to like play a game and then stop. You know what I mean? Like hop in, hop out. I've also been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 15 because for me it's a comfort game. It's actually I think it's one of the slowest RPGs I've ever
Mm-hmm.
played because there's a lot of just you like driving around and enjoying the scenic view. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of that in Red Dead Redemption as well, where you're just enjoying the view. And that's what I like about Final Fantasy 15. I've never played it because there's a 4K texture pack, and I've never had a monitor good enough to do that. And now that
Mm-hmm.
I have a monitor that's like a QHD or whatever, it's the one where it's like it's like 2K quality technically, or like
Mm-hmm.
3K, however you want to look at it. And the game looks beautiful, so the views look beautiful. I've been enjoying that game. I've been finding it very calming to play that game. Also, it has mod support, which I did not know. So I turned all my I think today I played the game as me and all the other characters as Ninja Turtles. Because there's four of us. It's like you and your three friends. That's your party. So I
Mm-hmm.
made us all Ninja Turtles because there's mods in the game. Why not? If I can be a Ninja Turtle in Final Fantasy, hell yeah, I'm gonna do that. I made the main villain of the game Jafar from Aladdin. I turned all like the big. There's these. I forget that they're. I think they're called Iron Demons or something. They're like these big bosses that show up at nighttime. I
Mm-hmm.
made all of those giant Shreks. It's just. I've been having goofy fun with the game. Anyways, having a lot of fun with mods lately as well, just checking things out since I've been messing around with them. But I've been playing a lot of Valorant, Final Fantasy 15, and then yeah, a bit of Just Cause 3, which is a really old game, and I wanted to see if they ever updated the graphics for PC, and they did not. Like, it's unfortunate. I wish they like did a 4K texture pack for that game or something. Even though they're more focused on Just Cause 4, but Just Cause 4 was honestly a flop compared to Just Cause 3. They nailed it in
Mm-hmm.
Just Cause 3.
All right, cool. I guess that's it for this episode. Make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/Revog. We got this podcast is, there's an audio podcast feed on Spotify and anchor.fm. You can follow me on Twitter at ThinkHero or on Instagram, Dennis.tzng. Josh, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitch at It's Thespis, or lowercase one word, and you guys can find me on the Revog Discord channel. Be sure to join it, and yeah, we can talk about video games in there. Mainly Elden Ring nowadays, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Until next time. See you guys later.
Later.